Alrighty, after a fun weekend of basketball, we are back with another episode of the Young Man Squad Fantasy Basketball Podcast, which is part of the Old Man Squad Sports Network, part of the Believe Network, and presented to you by our partners at FanDuel. I am your host, Noah Rubin, and I've got roughly 10 players that we're going to discuss today that have been playing pretty well, or I think at least worth noting, that could also be pretty valuable in Dynasty leagues. So we've got 9 players and a situation to discuss, which the situation impacts multiple players. That's why I don't want to just limit it to one specific player. But we're going to start there in Atlanta. And I have Dyson Daniels up on the screen just because I feel like he is one of the main beneficiaries. But we're going to talk about Trae Young's absence. He's going to be sidelined until, or I think reevaluated in 4 weeks, which would be like a late November, like after Thanksgiving or roughly around Thanksgiving reevaluation period, which isn't ideal, but he could be back shortly after that. I assume with a reevaluation that it won't be immediate. Hopefully it won't be too much longer after. But there are a few Hawks that have been able to step up. It's only been the game that he got hurt and then 2 more games after that. But just a few players I think are noteworthy. One being Dyson Daniels, over the last 3 games, averaging 14.3 points, 5.7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3.3 steals, 0.7 blocks, shooting 54.3% from the floor. Free throws, still not ideal, but never are going to be. It was a really, really rough offensive start for Dyson to this season, but he's been shooting the ball more with Trae Young out. That first game only had 7 points, but the last 2 games, a win in Indiana, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, shot the ball really well, 8 of 13 from the floor. Yes. And then in the last game, lost to Cleveland, 18, 4, 3, 4 with a block, got 8 of 12 from the floor. Not hitting threes, but he's not a great shooter. That's a weakness for him. So we're cool with that. But he's figuring things out offensively. So he had the really high ADP. I think the expectations were pretty high for him after last season. I didn't even end up getting Dyson Daniels in any of my redraft leagues just because I didn't feel like, unless I was going to build my team out a specific way, that it was going to work out as well as it did last year. Didn't feel like the steals could replicate. I mean, so far this season now, he's at 2.6 steals per game. Last few games a little higher. That can fluctuate, but it was more so the lack of an offensive role with Jalen Johnson healthy and with Kristaps Porzingis being introduced and Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Luke Kennard. Like, was there going to be enough assists or touches or shots to go around for Dyson to be able to impact that? First few games, no. Last couple games, yes, because there hasn't been Trae Young around. So I think over the next month or so, like when Trae Young comes back, he's going to be Trae Young. But it's a good opportunity for Dyson to kind of get his confidence back. I'm not expecting him to shoot his last 3 games, shot attempts, 12, 13, and 10. Before that, of 8, 6, 7, and 4. I don't think that Dyson Daniels is going to be shooting roughly 12 shots per game when this team is fully healthy. But getting that extra bonus offensive opportunity, and then when Trae Young is back, still, I guess, having that confidence boost, that's a good thing for him this season. And we get a nice stretch of play. So long-term in Dynasty, not impacting too much, but we are getting to see what Dyson Daniels can do in a larger role. But I think kind of tough to project that out because with the way the Hawks team is built, he's not necessarily going to be relying on a larger offensive role. So just signed that new contract. He's in Atlanta for the long haul. But it's good to know that he can do that when he's given the opportunity. I guess that's a takeaway. Jaylen Johnson's been fantastic this season, averaging 21.2 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals, shooting the ball well. Last 3 games, 22.7 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.3 steals, shooting over 60% from the floor. Yeah, this is the Jaylen Johnson breakout. This is when it happens. He's getting to basically be the star of the team. He's running the show without Trae Young around. So will that continue when Trae Young's back? I think that if Jaylen Johnson's playing well enough, they're not going to want to go away from that. So I I think we can see Jalen Johnson featured a little heavier if he plays well, like over the next few games. Not that he wasn't being featured early on, but seeing him with that bonus usage, bonus minutes, I think it's turned in some pretty good results. So hopefully that doesn't take away as much from him when Trae Young gets back. Because prior to Trae Young's injury, he was averaging 4 assists per game. Last few games, he had 6 assists per game. Not a dramatic bump, but more usage. I don't think that he'll necessarily maintain that over the course of the season, but good to see him do that. Good to see him kind of be the star of the show. Obviously, I guess the other factor here is Trae Young doesn't have a new contract. So we could be getting a look at this team and what they could look like in a couple of years, because just pulling up Trae Young's contract right now, he has a player option for next season. And then he'd be a free agent after that. Could he opt out? Potentially. I don't think. Yeah, so he's got the deadline would be in June. So he's out just before free agency starts. Got a long time to decide on that. Hawks may want to give him a new contract. They may not. Doubt they let him just walk, but could happen. If he opts out. Won't have a choice. But it's interesting to kind of get a look at what this team looks like without him. More short-term impact, we're getting a look at Keaton Wallace. Missed one of the games, missed their last game, but in the game that Trae Young got hurt, he had 5 assists in 14 minutes. Next game, 11 points and 7 assists in 17 minutes off the bench. Hasn't been great. He got a full contract, standard contract, I think is what I'm trying to say. This just before the season started, and I think he is deserving of that. We're getting a nice look at him, probably a deeper Dynasty type of guy, and then getting to see Nickeil Alexander-Walker in a larger role. He's averaging, since Trae went down, 18.3 points, 3 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.3 blocks, and a 3. It's the largest offensive role of his career by a good amount, though he's coming off the bench. But they're fine with him taking shots. He's taking threes. He's making an impact on defense. Fun to see him and Dyson Daniels play alongside each other. And it works pretty well. But we're going to get to see him do more on offense. So it's a good opportunity for him as well. All right, who do we got next? Next up, we're going to talk about... let's do this. We'll talk about Jonathan Kuminga next, who's been off to a pretty strong start to this season. Obviously, a lot of interesting contract stuff this offseason. But he has been really good to start this year, which I didn't expect. I don't know if maybe other people did expect, but I was not expecting Jonathan Kuminga to come out and average 17.4 points. Is that correct? Yes. 7.1 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.4 threes per game, shoot 53.1% from the floor. Those would all be career highs for him stretched out over the course of a season. Also, the free throw percentage, 83.9, would be a career high for him. So he's shooting the ball well, and he's passing the ball more. He's more active on the glass. He's like, everything is going well for him. There's not many defensive stats, and the turnovers are the highest of his career, but still not terrible. I think the encouraging part here is that we're getting to see him as a consistent starter, because Steve Kerr has not been shy about switching up his rotations in the past, but we're getting to see Jonathan Kuminga in a consistent starting role. He scored in double figures in all but one game this season, and that was a rough one, but it was a win over the Clippers in a very, very low-scoring game, 98-79. So nobody played particularly well in that. But other than that, he's been able to score and rebound pretty consistently and chip in some assists here and there. So this is a nice bounce back for a top 10 pick from the 2021 class that I was losing faith in, losing confidence in. Not that he didn't have any type of upside, but he hadn't really figured it out, or he wasn't really getting the opportunity. signs a 2-year contract to stay in Golden State, which was a little bit surprising to me because it was like, okay, do you take the qualifying offer and then hit the market, or do you just take the long-term contract that they offer you? They met in the middle, so he'll get an opportunity to get paid a larger contract sooner. But if he's playing this well, he may end up just sticking around in Golden State, which wouldn't be the worst thing for his long-term value, with obviously Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, now even Al Horford on the team getting older. Eventually, I don't think that this is just going to become Brandon Podziemski's team as much as they want to say that they want to pass the torch on to him. I think he's good, but I think a franchise centered around Podziemski probably is not having the same success that they've had over the past decade plus. And I don't think that's necessarily true for Jonathan Kuminga either, but I think there's a void that needs to be filled. And I think Jonathan Kuminga can be part of that, especially with how well he's played as of late. Next up on our list, we've got, and we probably won't spend quite as much time with him because we've talked about him before, Ryan Rollins. We need to keep talking about him. I think that's kind of the important thing. Ryan Rollins has been good. He's been a stud so far this season. Took over in the starting lineup for Kevin Porter Jr. when he went down. He's now going to be out at least 4 weeks. So we're looking at late November, early December at the earliest for him to return. And even when he does, they're not benching Ryan Rollins with how well he's played, unless something just dramatically changes. This season, averaging 18.2 points, 3.7 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 2.3 threes, 2.3 steals, 2 threes, shooting 53.9% from the floor, 88.2% from the line. Been even better over the past week or so. I'm looking at it. I believe after we talked with Matt, which was last Wednesday or Thursday, the 2 games since then, he went and had 32 points, 8 assists, and 5 threes, and then had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals. He's been a stud, and his dynasty value has to be skyrocketing. He's got a back-to-back over the next 2 days. Could potentially see Giannis miss one of those. But man, Ryan Rollins, I don't know exactly where he'll end up landing in dynasty rankings. Actually, Giannis missed the game, and it wasn't even a back-to-back because this is going to be their first back-to-back of the season. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. But Ryan Rollins had his best game when Giannis wasn't available because that was against the Warriors. They beat the Warriors without Giannis. And that was when he had a 32-point game. So has to be flying up dynasty rankings. He's been just that good. And, if he's still available in your dynasty, go pick him up. If someone's willing to trade him, go trade for him. If you have him, I wouldn't be looking to trade him away unless you're getting a ridiculous amount of value. But I think that was kind of my whole thing with the Bucks entering the season was they haven't done enough to make this a contender around Giannis. The point guard play was going to be weak. They had a couple solid veterans, obviously added Miles Turner, but that's really it. You're not really making up for the loss of Damian Lillard. Ryan Rollins has proved that wrong. He's not Damian Lillard, but he's impactful on both ends of the floor and has been really good to start this season. And it's hard to discount that. Just pure 9-cat ranking. He is 21st on Basketball Monster. Pretty difficult to do. We'll see if he's able to maintain this shooting pace because it's been incredible in high volume. That would be my only question mark. So we'll see how he looks moving forward. Next up, we've got Bilal Coulibaly, who finally made his season debut and has now played 2 games this season. Let's see. He had thumb surgery in September that caused him to miss the start of the season. Played 2 games, like I said, averaging 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 1 3. Not shooting the ball great. The first game was good, 16-8, 4, 1 3, with 2 threes. Second game, not so good, 10-2, 4, 1 1. So bad shooting night, but still able to give a handful of assists and some defensive stats, which was cool. But no threes in that game. So Coulibaly's a guy I was pretty high on after his rookie year, and then Second season was a little rough, especially back half of it. I had him pegged as a breakout candidate, and then things just didn't go super well. And I say they were rough second half. He didn't play the final month this season. It was more so, it was like mid-December to mid-January that was a rough patch for him. Rough patch in November as well. Still plenty of upside flashes, but not the breakout season I was expecting. Didn't expect it to happen this year because of the delayed start for him, but we've gotten 2 games, 1 good, 1 bad. We'll be seeing how that plays out, if he's able to build off of it, or if it doesn't happen this year. I still think he has plenty of upside. He's still really young, only 21 years old. He's going to be an important part of the future for Washington. Just got to see what he's able to give us and how relevant that'll be for Dynasty leagues. All right, who we got next? We'll stay in Washington for this next one because there's another Wizard, and I'm not even talking about Keyshawn Davis. There's so much to be excited about in Washington. Alex Sarr has been really good, and Sarr was my favorite player from the 2024 class entering that draft. I've had him pretty high in Dynasty rankings because I really believed in the upside, even if the rookie year wasn't great. I wasn't as high on him in redraft leagues because I didn't think that this was going to be the season that he figured it out. But he's been really good. He's really figured things out on both ends of the floor, averaging 16.7 points, 8.5 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 2.2 blocks, 1 3, and most importantly, shooting 53.2% from the floor. Anybody that watched him during his rookie year would not have expected that to happen because, despite being 7 feet tall, he shot 39.4% from the floor during his rookie season. You're not supposed to do that when you're 7 feet tall. You're just not. So I think it's the efficiency improvement is the main thing. How's he been able to do that? Well, looking at the shots he's been taking, almost half of his shot attempts this season have been in the restricted area, like right at the rim. Still shooting some shots in the paint outside the restricted area and still shooting some threes, and he's been more efficient with the threes. But last season, he shot more shots that were in the paint but not in the restricted area than shots in the restricted area, and shot more threes than both of those, or more above the break threes even. He's changing his shot diet. It's more like that of a center. And this is the thing with Alex Sarr. The reports after the draft were he was trying to avoid Atlanta, didn't want to play center, wanted to play power forward. And that's why he wanted to go to Washington, because he could do that because they signed Jonas Valanciunas, and why that would be the long-term thought because they signed Valanciunas, I don't know. But he didn't really even do that much during his rookie year, and now he's full-on playing center, and he's more efficient. He's shooting shots at the rim. He's rebounding. He's still blocking shots. He's even been able to improve his playmaking. He's getting more assists. He had 3 games with 5 assists. Really good to see. Makes him even more dynamic. This has been quite the leap forward for Alex Sarr. He's definitely a player to value really highly in Dynasty leagues. There were certainly some question marks after his rookie year. Sure, he was going to block shots and he was going to be able to hit threes because he was taking threes. So at some point he's going to hit them, which was helpful. But this year it's improvements in the things that we want to see him improve in to be able to play center, because what makes him dynamic is not that he's this just incredible switchable defender from a power forward spot. It's that he would be a 7-foot center that is defending the paint and switching onto guards. It becomes more unique as a center than as a power forward. So yeah, he still has this all defensive upside, but it only makes sense from playing the center spot. So really excited by what I've seen from Alex Sarr so far this season. Next up, we'll head over to Orlando, staying in the same division, and we'll talk about Anthony Black, who started 1 game, which was by far his best game of the season. I hope that he gets more of an opportunity, whether it be in Orlando or elsewhere. So far this season, averaging 12.3 points, 3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 0.9 steals, 0.9 blocks, 1 3, which the shooting is not his strongest aspect, but hitting a 3 per game, great. It's the defensive stats that we're really encouraged by or really want to see more of. Also shooting 50.8% for the floor is really cool. So he had the start against Charlotte, end of October, 20 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 3 threes. That was a start in place of Jalen Suggs. The first game that Jalen Suggs missed because he's not playing both legs of back-to-backs. Anthony Black didn't start, but he came off the bench and played more minutes than Tyus Jones, who started and had 19 points, 5 boards, an assist, a steal, a block, and 3. The last game that Anthony Black played in he didn't play bad, but he wasn't as productive. They beat the Wizards by 30, so who cares? Like, they're not they don't need him to do, I guess. It's just kind of whatever. They won by 30. But seeing what he could do as a starter in a start and just in an increased role just has me encouraged, because he is a player that I really liked from the 2023 class, and a lot of it was the steal rate in college. Knowing that he had concerns about the shot, but that the defensive potential was there. Having him land in Orlando wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst, because it's a really good defensive team and he could have some crazy good lineups. Or they could have him in some crazy good lineups, but wasn't a great enough shooter to necessarily play off ball in a lineup with Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and whoever was going to play center, Wendell Carter, or whoever else. And now they have Desmond Bane. So Anthony Black's best role here is backup point guard behind Jalen Suggs. Would love to see Anthony Black be moved somewhere where he can start or at least have a more valuable role. I'm not saying he's not valuable in Orlando. Like, I think he helps this team. But I think he could really pop in a different situation. So maybe that's a trade that Orlando could look at, where they send Anthony Black to a team that could use specifically defensive guard help, like guard help, and a center can come back to Orlando. I don't know exactly what that trade could look like, but I think that's an option. Or maybe not even a center, just someone that's more of a shooter. I think that would be, like, Orlando needs help shooting the ball. They need more floor spacers. Desmond Bane has been disappointing this far, and I don't think that means Desmond Bane stinks. I just think it hasn't worked out yet. Desmond Bane is going to figure it out. But maybe that's a potential trade where I think if that happens, Anthony Black's value can really pop. And those are the type of players we want to buy low on in Dynasty leagues. Next player we've got, not next start. We will talk about a player that got, I think, just 2 starts. And that's Jake LaRavia for the Lakers. I know he's apparently the most notable thing about him is that that Anthony Edwards didn't know who he was. But if you have been paying attention to Dynasty content in recent years, then you probably do know who Jake LaRavia is, averaging 12.9 points, 5.1 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1.4 steals, and 1.7 threes. And I mentioned, so I did a preseason Dynasty Sleepers column for Roto World. I had 11 players pinned as sleepers, players you should try and trade for before this season starts. And I don't feel like, it's not a perfect list, and I still stand by, I think, all of them, but we'll talk about it. I'm just going to fly through them all real quick, just because LaRavia is on this list, and another player we'll talk about here in a minute. Keyshawn George, which has looked good so far. Keon Ellis, I stand by, hasn't really got the opportunity. Nikola Jovic, I thought this was going to look better. By now I had him as just a regular redraft sleeper as well. Hasn't happened yet. Hopefully they'll be able to use him a little bit more. Ryan Kalkbrenner, who's looked good for the Hornets. Jake LaRavia. Jonathan Mobo hasn't really gotten an opportunity yet in Toronto this season, but did in the past. I still think he's worth trying to stash. Goga Bitadze was always going to kind of be you're trading for him now so that when he goes to a different team, and I mentioned that in there, it's probably going to be on a different team, but still a player to trade for. Jaylen Tyson, who we'll talk about in a bit. Oso Gadaro, who did get to start at the beginning of the season for the Suns, but hasn't been great. But I still love his upside. Adem Bona, who actually, now that I'm thinking about it, started the 76ers last game. Let's see how he did, because I remember saying that, and I don't remember looking at his stats too much. Didn't play that much, didn't do all that much. Cool. So maybe that was a miss, but still got time. I still like his talent. And then Mohamed Gay for the Hawks, who, when he's gotten the opportunity, has looked good. So I talked about LaRavia as a sleeper, and I just wanted to shout out that list because I was happy that it wasn't a bunch of I know it's only 2 weeks in, but it wasn't a bunch of like really, really bad like picks or really bad advice. Seems like it's pretty good so far. So he's, I think I'd call that his stats already. Started 2 games. First start was bad. Second start, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block, 5 threes. Shot with a 10 of 11 from the floor. And that's the game where it was like, we don't know who that is. Or Anthony Edwards didn't. That was a starter. Next game goes back to coming off the bench. 13, 5, 2, 3, and a 3-pointer against Memphis. The team that drafted him back in Memphis. So a nice little, maybe, was that his, let me see. So he played against the Grizzlies last year after being traded to the Kings, but it doesn't look like he played in Memphis. So this was his return to Memphis. Kind of cool. Played pretty well. Then this last game, 25, 8, 3, and 4, 2 threes shot, 9 of 13 from the floor. Now it's like, oh, okay, so this guy's a player. First couple games wouldn't have necessarily got that vibe for the Lakers, but he's going to be really good. He'll, cool when I do this. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Jake LaRavia. I like how NBA.com has the stats, or like in their profile page has their birthday, because now I can shout out people's birthdays. So it's his 24th birthday today. That's really cool. And he's played well for the Lakers. And I kind of said this in that article that LeBron missing time. I may have even wrote this before LeBron was. I wrote that before LeBron was injured. So my thing was there wasn't as much depth behind LeBron that LaRavia could be one of the primary reserve wings. Didn't expect him to. I mean, that's kind of what he is. He's got a couple starts in there. Don't know if he'll move into the starting lineup or keep coming off the bench. But it's been good to see him play well. And even if, let's pull up his contract here, even if he doesn't stay in Los Angeles, which we can talk about if he does first, because he has a 2-year deal that he signed this summer with the Lakers. So he's, this year and next year will look to get a larger contract than $6 million per year. If he stays with the Lakers, LeBron probably is, LeBron, but he's probably not going to play more than like 2 more seasons. Could be his last one. Maybe next year is. Don't know. Jake LaRavia would have a good scenario to step into a permanent starting role. I'm not saying he absolutely deserves that at this point. There's plenty of time for that to go either way. But it's a good opportunity. Or he signs elsewhere. He plays well enough with the Lakers that he gets a big contract somewhere else. So definitely a player to be keeping an eye on over the next few weeks and over the rest of the season, and to trade for if you haven't already in Dynasty formats. All right, we have got 3 more players to talk about. Let's do this so I can get this player page up. We're going to talk about a guy that I did not have on a sleeper list this year, because that is Quentin Grimes, who has been really good so far this year. And if we check out our partners at FanDuel, he is currently 4th in the race for 6th man of the year. AJ Mitchell is the current favorite, then Jeremy Grant, Jaime Jaquez, and then Quentin Grimes. Frankly, I think that Quentin Grimes is a pretty good bet. And if I'm comparing it to some of the other guys that are in front of him, AJ Mitchell taking advantage of Jalen Williams and then other guard injuries. The players have been in and out of the lineup for the Thunder, and I still think he is going to be just fine. But he had stepped up with people out we'll see if he gets the same opportunity. I think he should. But when that team's healthy, Jeremy Grant playing well as a reserve. We'll see if he stays a reserve, and if he does, if he continues to play this well, or if he gets traded. Also, there's a lot of uncertainty there with Jeremy Grant. And then Jaime Jaquez playing well with the Heat dealing with injuries, such as the injury to Tyler Hero. Quentin Grimes has, admittedly, been stepping up with Paul George out. But he's looked really good, and he hasn't been starting in place of Paul George. He's just been playing a lot as a reserve, averaging 18.2 points, 4.8 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 3.2 threes per game. Almost a steal. Their last game had 22, 7, and 13 assists. So that's really boosted that assist number that's been kind of around 3 or 4 for much of the season. Was awesome to end last season. Was on fire. But it was okay, but when Tyrese Maxey and Paul George and Joel Embiid are back, what does his role look like? And then they added VJ Edgecombe, and then Jeremy McCain's not even back. That's another injury to think about. But Quentin Grimes has not just been good in place with him. He's been legitimately just really productive and really good. And I think he's going to continue to be one of their primary, probably their primary scoring option off the bench, even with Jared McCain back. And when Paul George is back, that's not going to get it. I think everyone's return may cut into his minutes, but if he's playing this well, it's going to be difficult to do that. So Quentin Grimes signed the qualifying offer with the 76ers this offseason. So it's just a 1-year underpaid deal. And I think if he keeps playing like this in a reserve role, he's going to have a much larger market this offseason than he did for this upcoming offseason than he did this past offseason. This past offseason was everyone with a restricted, or that was a restricted free agent. It was kind of are they going to get an offer? They weren't really getting offers from other teams. And I think it was just a weird situation. I don't know if it was what the reasoning was behind that. Probably that some of these guys wanted more than other teams were willing to pay them. But free agent next summer will be interesting to see. I would assume he probably signs with whoever's going to pay him the most money, and gives him an opportunity to start. So I know he's playing well, so it's probably going to be hard to buy in on Quentin Grimes, but definitely a player to keep tabs on. If he sees his role decline when Jared McCain or Paul George returns, or both return, might be a good time to sneak in and make a trade for him, because I don't think he's going to re-sign with this. I don't think the Sixers will be able to afford to pay him next summer without making some sort of move or adjustment. But with VJ Edgecombe, it's are they going to want to pay him as much as he's probably going to command on the open market? I imagine that he's playing for a different team. We'll see. Things can change. But definitely a good time to buy in before he gets a permanent starting role. 2 players left. First one is going to be a guy I mentioned that was on my sleeper list, and that is Jaylen Tyson, who has been starting for the Cavs the last few games, which is cool to see. Was starting some during the preseason, then started the first couple games for them, didn't play super well, came off the bench 2 games, didn't play super well, and then the last 3 games he started and played pretty well. So this season he's averaging 10.9 points, 2.7 rebounds, 1.6 assists, just under a steal, 2.1 threes, shooting 50% from the floor. Last 3 games averaging, 18.3 points, 3.7 threes, getting some defensive stats. So he's been good. Now, Darius Garland coming back is obviously going to push him to the bench. Or I think Sam Merrill's been out, which is the reason that he's been starting. Yeah. So he may not keep that role, but we're seeing what he can do in that role. So it might be 1 or 2 years down the road, but Jaylen Tyson's the guy they drafted in the first round last year. Strus is a guy they added in free agency. DeAndre Hunter's a guy they added via trade. Didn't have to give up that much. Sam Merrill's played well, but could we see Jaylen Tyson just be the 5th starter on this team next to Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, and Jared Allen, assuming that they keep the rest of this core together? I think that's a very possible scenario. And it's been good to see him play well as a starter. So hopefully he keeps getting the opportunity, at least until Sam Merrill's back, and maybe Merrill's played too well to bench him. So it'll be an interesting conversation. Hopefully Jaylen Tyson has at least earned a large role for the remainder of the season so that we can see him have more productive performances, because that would be good to see. Last player is a guy that has seen an increase in his role but hasn't been able to play great so far. He's been okay. Jarus Walker, the number 8 overall pick in 2023. He's been okay, averaging 11.2 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 threes, shooting 31.5% from the floor. Started the last 3 games and shot worse than 30% in 2 of those. Came off the bench the first 3 games and shot 25% or worse in 2 of those. So 2 good shooting performances, or 2 fine shooting performances, and then 4 bad ones. Here's the thing: is he's a former top 10 pick. We've seen him be productive in the past in specific situations, whether it be a late season start or just a short stint here and there. We've also seen him have some rough games, and he was a top 10 pick that struggled to get minutes, but it was on a good team, so this is kind of up in the air a lot. We're going to figure out who Jarus Walker is over the next at least handful of weeks, potentially getting a good look at him for the rest of the season. Obi Toppin's going to miss a lot of time. Everyone else in this team is freaking hurt, cannot stay healthy. So Jarus Walker's not only going to play, but he doesn't have the ball in his hands, because they're starting Quentin Jackson at point guard and have Ray J. Dennis off the bench. Not a ton of reliable options here, or proven options. So they're going to figure out what they have in this top 10 pick. So it hasn't been great so far. I'm still a believer, and we have seen him be a pretty good playmaker. I think if you don't believe in Jarus, this is the best way I can put this advice, is I believe in Jarus Walker. If you believe in Jarus Walker, it's a good time to trade for him, because he's going to get an opportunity, but he hasn't been great yet. He hasn't even been really that good yet, but he's going to get an opportunity. If you don't believe in Jarus Walker, good time to trade him, because he's going to get the opportunity. He hasn't been great so far, but he's still going to get the opportunity. And he could end up being good, but he might not. So my case is stronger for if you're a believer like I am, but if you're not, I wouldn't wait too much longer, because the last few starts haven't been great. Might want to try to look to trade him and sell somebody on, hey, somebody's got to play minutes in Indiana, and this former top 10 pick is going to get the opportunity to show how good he is, something like that, if you're not a believer. But I'm not advising to just trade Jarus Walker away. I'm just giving that little tidbit for anyone who may not be a Jarus Walker fan that also has him rostered for some reason. My advice would be, hey, before this guy pops, try and trade for him. That'd be my advice. But that is the 10 players that we were going to talk about in this episode of the Young Man Squad Fantasy Basketball Podcast, which is part of the Old Man Squad Sports Network, part of the Believe Network, and presented to you by our partners at FanDuel. Got more planned for this week. I know I missed doing one last Friday, just got too busy, which is why we kind of did more of a weekend review than just a weekend review. But planning to do for the rest of this week, one episode on rookies, one episode on the 2026 class that probably isn't going to be super in-depth because I'm not super knowledgeable on the entire class at this point. One episode with Matt Lawson, and then a week review on Friday. But be on the lookout for those episodes. And we've got a lot of exciting stuff upcoming this season, so definitely be checking out everything on the Old Man Squad YouTube and Twitter account. But that's going to do it for this episode, and I will see you guys next time.